Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Must be recognized by the black man. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he wanted me to speak for all black people. Think for the whole and speak for the whole. Here's the way I want you to think. If we have 30 million people eating a slice of bread per meal, that's 90 million slices of bread per day. 630 million slices of bread per week. 37,760,000,000 slices of bread per year. How much land must we have under wheat cultivation to give our people their daily bread? Then he said, move on to milk. How much land must we have? How many cows must we own? How much grazing land must we have to give our people a glass of milk with every meal? How many sheep must we have, and how much grazing land must we have to give our people a lamb chop? I didn't say pork chop. Lamb chops. They ain't got to rob nobody. You gotta own the means of production. Then all your businesses will spring up. How much land must we have to give our people a requirement of spinach or broccoli or carrots, cauliflower, onions, garlic, string beans? All the things that help us to feed ourselves come from the land. How much land must we have? We've got to know just what it takes to feed an entire people. That means we are independent. We've taken our stomach away from our enemies. How much clay land must we have in order to make bricks, to start building houses? How much forest land must we have to cut down the trees and make wood to build homes? We have to have land, and there is no compromising this.
Defending black women and black children and black babies and black men.
The truth must be recognized by the black man. But the word economics comes from the Greek eikonomikos, but it has come to be defined as the science of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services, or the material welfare of humanity. Now, a blueprint is something defined that acts as a plan, a model, or something providing guidance. An economic blueprint is exactly what we need. Doctor, you in the house? Lawyer, you in the house? Teacher, you in the house? Preacher, you in the house? Tell me something. If you don't eat well, how long will you practice law? If you don't eat well, you become the patient, doctor. So don't look down on a farmer, look up to a farmer, because today it will be us farming our own land, producing our own food that will save our lives. It hurts me to travel and see us so dependent on others for the basic necessities of life, when the richness of our land is there to produce all that we need and then some.
defending black women and black children and black babies and black men.
The truth must be recognized by the black man. We are an international people. Our brothers and sisters are all over the world desirous of doing business with us. But if we are not producing anything, we can't enter into trade and commerce with the nations of the earth. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote in Message to a Black Man, quote, as a people, we must become producers and not remain consumers and employees. We must be able to extract raw materials from the earth and manufacture them into something useful for ourselves. This would create jobs in production. We must remember that without land, there is no production. And the surplus of what we produce, we would sell. This would help develop a field of commerce and trade as other free and independent people whose population is less than that of ours, so-called Negroes. The truth must be recognized by the black man.
We're talking about revolution because that's the era that you're caught in. You're caught in a revolutionary era.
Defending black women and black children and black babies and black men.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad outlined some basic principles. Number one, recognize the necessity for unity and group operation. Do you understand that if we can work together as a group in unity, we will be more successful, more powerful, more able to do the things that as individuals working by ourselves, we have never been able to do. Pool your resources physically as well as financially. Stop wanton criticism of everything that is black owned and operated. Keep in mind that jealousy destroys from within. Observe the operations of the white man. He is successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. He works hard in a collective manner. You do the same. Now, these are things that we must do. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked us to commit to save 5 cents a day. He said if we can save just 5 cents a day from our wages, 25 cents a week for 52 weeks in the year, that would mean we would put aside $13 a year that we could save in a national savings treasury. At that time that he wrote this, we numbered 22 million people and approximately 5 million were wage earners. Well, if 5 million wage earners save $13 a year, this would mean 65 million saved out of our wages in 1 year at the rate of 25 cents per week. It would be painless. Today, brothers and sisters, don't you think we can do better than what we were asked to do 48 years ago? According to government statistics, there are a little over 16 million blacks employed at some level. Well, look what happens if we raise the economic bar and contribute the same nickel a day. The truth must be recognized by the black man.
Defending black women and black children and black babies
must be recognized by the black man. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he wanted...
Greetings, listeners. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God. Welcome to the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM. I am Brother David Muhammad, and I'm going to be in studio with you up to 9 o'clock this morning. And in a short while from now, I will open up the telephone lines and take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391. You can send WhatsApp messages directly to me on 332-0214. And you can go to our social media pages and follow us, just looking for the Street 919 FM. Beloved family, another week in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, a difficult week in many ways. And a lot of grief, a lot of sorrow, a lot of national frustration, a lot of turning a blind eye to it as well. But I wish for us to remain solution-oriented and optimistic. We have to continue with each and all of our efforts to make the society better than it is, instead of resigning in frustration, just pulling our curtains, closing our windows, locking our doors, sticking to ourselves, and living in fear. Don't let external negativity extinguish your internal positivity. Don't let the temporary triumph of evil make you permanently surrender to the chaos that we witness. You must keep that spark of hope. So we have to intensify our efforts. And I make reference to Surah 71 in the Holy Quran, which is entitled Noah, where God told the prophet Noah to go and warn the people. And Noah, obeying those instructions, went to the people. But he was rejected. And he went back to God and he said, I've spoken to them in the day. I've spoken to them at night. I have spoken to them in the public places. I've spoken to them quietly in private. I've spoken to them and appealed in every way that I can, but they are not listening. God's instruction to Noah was, still continue to talk and teach and preach to the people. And the message there is that Noah was in no way capable of evaluating or assessing the degree of impact that his message had on the people who were hearing him. There was absolutely no way whatsoever for Noah to conduct an assessment to see who was taking heed. No, only God knows the hearts of men. Only Allah knows our secret thoughts, our inclinations. The Quran says the messenger only has one definite responsibility, which is a clear delivery of the message. Again, it's not for the messenger to say, okay, well, I conducted a survey and 4 out of 10 people are not going to change their ways, or 9 out of every 10 are going to continue to waste their time, or 7 out of every 10 are going to continue destroying themselves. No. He has to just teach. Nothing else. Because you don't know what seeds are being planted. Every single brother in the community continue to be that good example, that positive role model, that great mentor. And even if it appears that you're not being emulated, continue to do good. Don't let evil be victorious over good. It's that simple. You have to keep stepping, keep up the struggle. Now and always. So, beloved family, November in Trinidad and Tobago is Black History Month. And since we've opened the Kwame Ture Center officially in 2018, every year, including last year, we have had a range of activities. We have the displays on. We have a number of different sessions. And so our official launch of Black History Month is tomorrow at the Kwame Ture Center from 11 o'clock in the morning. All are invited. And tomorrow, we are going to take you on a journey through the slave castles, the slave dungeons of West Africa, the place where our ancestors came from, where I visited in late September into October. It is some chilling, horrifying, and disturbing images. I filmed a documentary, which we're going to show later on in the month, but we're going to reveal some of those images to you, some of the information from the tours of what our ancestors went through. And I want to say this to us. You know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in 2007 did a series entitled Justifiable Homicide, addressing and analyzing the black-on-black killings among our youth. And he pointed out as one of the factors within our community that our youth do not know the struggle that our ancestors went through in order for us to be here. And he made the point that there is not one Jewish child, not one Jewish teenager who does not know the history of the Holocaust. They make it their business to know the elders make it their business to teach the younger ones. And as a result of the preservation and archiving of that history of the Jewish Holocaust, you don't see gangs of Jews arming themselves with weapons to shoot and kill other gangs of Jews. There's no such thing as Jewish on Jewish mass murder or mass killings or gang warfare, because they were brought up and taught of what they endured as a people. Therefore, they value each other's lives much more. This morning at the Kwame Ture Center from 10 o'clock, of course, we have the weekly George Padmore Boys Academy sessions. But we're doing a special presentation for our young men this morning for Black History Month. And then, of course, the official launch is with our presentation tomorrow. So it's 10 o'clock this morning, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. But, beloved, that essential knowledge that they must know that can change the thinking of our young people. And so that kind of teaching is essential, that kind of knowledge is essential, and it's our responsibility to share it. So, November, beloved family, Black History Month in Trinidad and Tobago, we want to make this one filled with knowledge, filled with consciousness.
This is your Soca Parang Fever of today, sponsored by Royal Castle.
Our culture, our taste.
Okay, Rudolph, make her right. Then, hold on. Mrs. Claus sent a WhatsApp. The elves are hungry. Pick up a Royal Castle Queen bucket, a King bucket, some royal wings, a family meal, a few combos, some extra delicious coleslaw, crinkle-cut fries, potato salad, and a snack box for yourself. Oh, and don't forget that delicious honey mustard sauce. It's really lashing. Okay, Rudolph, let's get that delicious local Trini flavor. Royal Castle, here we come. Royal Castle is the local something that makes it all taste better. Happy holidays from Royal Castle. Hey. I see her and I want her. I got to have her. Hey. Oh yeah. I want that Spanish woman to marry me, to play me a soca parang, to move me bleed. Parang so nice and parang so sweet. Soca parang. Wind up your waist and dance to the beat. Inside the parang. I don't want no sorry Lord ginger beer. I ain't drinking them things this year. This Christmas all I want is a Spanish woman from Paramis. Digo Martins in a rematch. Donna Pura from Lopino and Los Fajos, Don Maracas, Rampanayas. I see her and I want her. I got to have her. Oh, yeah. Get there. Down there. Ah, yeah. Give it. I try all them other woman before. All other woman. But them Spanish mujer is all I adore. Them Spanish woman. I like to see them when they walk and whine. The full love and tenderness is so fine. You know how to cut and how to contrive to keep their family alive. So this year I want to take home a Spanish woman from
Rima, Tunapuna, from Yanchiches, bring them in pairs, Spanish Royal, Coco Royal. Digo Martin, in a Rima, Tonapuna, from Blanchiches, bring them in pairs, Spanish Royal, Coco Royal, get there. Spanish woman, Spanish woman, Spanish woman, give me Spanish woman, Spanish woman.
And that was your Soca Parang Fever of today, courtesy Royal Castle.
Our culture, our taste.
Oh, 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 oh. Christmas is coming, and we're heading back to T&T for that famous Royal Castle chicken. We just love the Royal Castle family meal with those 12 pieces of tasty chicken, the 6 yummy sides, and that refreshing 2-liter soft drink. It's just perfect for a nice Christmas lime. So if you're hustling and bustling like me, or if you just want some great tasting food, pick up the Royal Castle family meal. Happy holidays from Royal Castle. Oh, 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 oh.
All right, people. All right, just stay focused. Stay focused, that's all. Stay focused. So as I was saying, and I mean, come on, that time of year and all of that, let's just stay focused on what we're saying. So November in Trinidad and Tobago is Black History Month. It was started by 3 great black women back in the late 1980s as the traditional February month, which is Black History Month in America, is a period that is consumed by our local carnival celebrations. Therefore, November was selected, and this was by our beloved sister, Asha Cambon, Sister Maureen Thompson, and Sister Pat McLeod. And from that time to now, there have been a number of acknowledgements, teachings, presentations, quizzes, and a lot of activities for Black History Month. And as I said, since 2018, since we opened the Kwame Ture Center, we have been having month-long activities, and we launch tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We have a very special presentation on the slave experience, and we're focusing particularly on the slave dungeons or the slave castles of West Africa, where I visited recently, and it's some really chilling images, some pictures that we took there. Also, we took a lot of video footage. Like I said, we filmed a documentary, and it is an experience that all African people should see. All African people. So you're invited to the Kwame Ture Center tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. And bring a friend or family member. Now, of course, a lot of attention has been paid this week to, well, the crime problem and some of these kinds of killings that we're seeing. Of course, a young man, 17 years old, killed his own mother, according to one report. There was the murder-suicide, man with 5 licensed firearms. These videos of open torture. Killings taking place almost anywhere at just about any time of the day or night. I posted a video on social media last week which captured quite a bit of attention from all across America, England, Jamaica, Barbados. Been doing quite a few media interviews this week based on one particular point that has triggered off the critical thinking of many of our people. And that key point is that as we speak, the American military are planning and, according to one report, have already initiated going into Haiti to deal with the gang problem in Haiti. So, troops from the United States Army are in the midst of plans to enter into Haiti to deal with the gangs over there. All right. But we made the point last week that Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica have a by far worse gang problem, a by far worse crime problem than Haiti has. By far worse. As a matter of fact, if you look over, say, the last 10 years, you see that the average murder rate in Haiti is something like 9 murders per 100,000. 9 per 100,000. In fact, up to 2018, it had dropped to 6.8. And I think only 1 year it crossed 10 or went to 11 in the last 10 years. Now, I know there's been a spike recently. We understand that. But here you have Haiti with a fraction of the murder rate that Trinidad and Tobago has. Because if Haiti has an average of 10 murders per 100,000, think of Trinidad and Tobago. We have 1.4 million people, and we're averaging these days just above 500. So that would put us somewhere around 40 to 45 murders per 100,000. But Haiti has 9. So, of course, logic would cause us to ask, well, if this is the case, how come the American troops aren't talking about coming into Trinidad to deal with the gang problem or going into Jamaica to deal with the gang problem? How come there's this focus on Haiti, whose gang problem is not as bad? And it goes back to something that we always say, and I'll tell you this, when I was relocating to Trinidad to live in 1992, there was a speech that Minister Farrakhan just did. It was, I believe, September 30th, 1992. And I had this cassette, and I was saving it to listen to on the plane. You know, back then, of course, we had cassettes and so on. And it was a cassette that was being marketed by the Final Call. The name of the lecture, it was a short lecture, it was 55 minutes long. Name of the lecture was Attack on Black Youth. And the most memorable part of it was when Minister Farrakhan said in that lecture in 1992, and from that time to now we've been preaching this, that we don't want to break up the gangs. No. But we do want to give the gangs the correct consciousness. We don't want to destroy the gangs. We want to put the right ideas in the brains of the gang members. Because if you can get them to stop killing and get out of crime and retain that same structure as an organized unit of individuals with a common idea, goal, and cause, then that can be a powerful association. Now, the state tends to take an approach that we have to destroy the gangs, so much so that they've even criminalized being a gang member. But I am saying to the gang members, you do not have to be a gangster and a criminal at the same time. You can be a gangster without breaking the law. And this is actually what we need in our community. People working together, people forming associations, people establishing organizations, cooperating in group collective efforts geared towards empowerment without committing any crime. Now, the thing is, you have a lot of criminals in this country who technically, based on the definition and based on how they look at the situation, are not gang members, but they're criminals. I'm talking about lawyers, talking about judges, talking about politicians, even members of law enforcement. Many of them are criminals, but they're not gangsters. And I'm saying to you, you can still be a gangster without being a criminal. Now, where does Haiti come in this? Whoa. Well, check it. The reason that the American military are talking about going into Haiti and occupying there to deal with the gang problem is because the gangs, some of them, and that's my key phrase, some of them are operating on a different level of consciousness. One of the main gangs have made it their objective to lower gas prices. Now think about that. Could you imagine if we had a gang in Trinidad, Rasta City and the Muslim gang and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, all these guys. Could you imagine if one of those gangs organized themselves and instead of shooting and killing each other and drinking and smoking and partying and terrifying old ladies and little children in schools, that they say, listen, they have a meeting, say we have to organize ourselves in such a way, do A, B, C, and D, we have to get these gas prices lowered. And some of those gangs, some of them in Haiti, have targeted politicians, kidnapped major businessmen to force decisions that would positively affect the lives of poor people. It's deep. And so because they're not obsessed in the same way like what we're witnessing in our newspapers and in our news headlines almost every day when we read the newspapers or listen to the radio or turn on the television news, and just killing, senseless killings, non-stop. You see, for as long as it's like that, one group of young black men killing another group of young black men, there are those in the state who will zip their lips and say, let it happen. Let them kill out each other. There are some who silently observe young black men killing young black men, thinking that the less there are of us, the better it is for them, unless we are their employees. Oh, well, I have news for you. Because the more injustice there is in the land, the more those same circumstances and conditions will be reproduced and replicated. So now, these gangs in Haiti going after the rich, the elite. Whoa. See, that's where people in Trinidad get nervous sometimes. Do you know, and I stand to be corrected, but based on every single crime, let me see if I could pull up this statistic. I want you to think deeply about this one here, which is so linked, so connected to what I'm saying. Do you know that of every single crime that can possibly be committed, every single crime on record, there's only one crime? There is only, listen. There is only one major crime that has been completely solved within a year period. Only one. I wonder if you're hearing me. Think about this, beloved people. Our murder rate in Trinidad and Tobago has gone totally out of control. And we, with almost 2 full months left to go, are about to hit the highest mark of murders ever in all of our history. But did you know that of every single crime on the books, every single crime on record, of every single crime ever recorded, there is only one crime in Trinidad and Tobago that has been solved, completely eradicated, 100% in a year's period? Only one crime. You know what crime that is? That has been totally eradicated for a whole year period? Kidnapping. Because when it comes to gang warfare and murder, most of the murders are by poor people against other poor people. All of the victims in the so-called ghettos in the communities are poor black people. But literally none of the victims of kidnapping are poor black people. Most of them are rich, non-African people. Therefore, the state has relentlessly pursued the kidnappers, used all of their resources, all of their material, all of their human resource, all of their equipment, all of their technology, and dedicated it to putting an end to kidnapping in Trinidad and Tobago, because kidnapping is a crime that happens to the rich. Therefore, the state, over the last couple of decades in particular, has done everything it could to fight against kidnapping. And kidnapping, for the most part, has been solved. Now look at it here. And I want you to think deeply about this. So you would remember in the early 2000s, one member of a Syrian family was kidnapped, and I mean, you had government ministers, members of parliament, all types of persons in high society gravitating on the home of the family to comfort them. Meanwhile, poor black people getting killed in the ghetto every day, not one visit from anyone in any kind of authority. But when they kidnapped that Syrian boy, it was almost 20 years ago now. Got so much government support, state support. Now, in 2002, there were 29 kidnappings for ransom. 2003, there were 51. 2004, there were 28. 2005, there were 58. 2006, there were 17. Then there was a huge jump. In 2007, there were 155 kidnappings. That's almost one every 2 weeks or 2 days. Now, when that happened, you will notice that 2007, we peaked at 155 kidnappings, and the state said, nope, this is happening to rich people, we need to stop it. And then the murder rate went so high, it was around that same time that there was this hit list that was circulating, which one weekly newspaper had did an article on at the time. It was around that same time that the Minister of National Security said in the 2005 budget debate that a group of prominent businessmen came to him with a list of people that should be murdered. That is a crime, conspiracy to commit murder, but the Minister of National Security didn't take any action against those business criminals who are actually writing up lists of people that they want bumped off, as they said. But as soon as the kidnapping started going high, the extrajudicial killings and the names on this hit list started going down. And then they went from 155 kidnappings in 2007 to 11 kidnappings in 2008 to 6 kidnappings in 2009 to 4 kidnappings in 2010 to 2 kidnappings in 2011. The next few years was 5, 3, 2, 3, and then by 2016, there were 0 kidnappings. 0 kidnappings recorded for the year 2016. And I am putting it to you that for all the crimes, murder, manslaughter, theft, larceny, burglary, robbery, rape, fraud, whatever crime it is, kidnapping is the only crime that hit 0, and the reason for that is because it's happening to the rich. So this suggests that they can put a stop to whatever's taking place, but it depends on who the victim is, you see. And once the victim continues to be poor and black, there will be less attention paid to it. And this is what is happening in Haiti. The gangs in Haiti are targeting the rich, some of them. And because they want to get gas prices lowered and food prices lowered and make life financially easier for poor people within the community, then America says, nope, we have to go in, sending the American army to stop those gangs, even though Trinidad and Jamaica have a much bigger gang and crime problem.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the Street 919 FM.
91.9 is counting down 91 days of Christmas. Merry Christmas! Yes, 91 days of Christmas.
Yeah, right. 91 days of Christmas!
Oh, yeah. It's karaoke, prizes to be won, giveaways. It's the 91 days of Christmas on the Street. 919 FM.
I could sing a good serenade. Oh, it's Christmas.
Want to furnish your home in style? Stylus Furniture makes this possible. Shop using our affordable layaway options to purchase any of our modern sectionals, dining, living room, or bedroom sets, and receive a dinner voucher for 2 at Ateliers Restaurant and Lounge. For further information, contact us at 652-2542, 652-2688, and 790-1202. You can also visit any of our branches located at 101 Crackness Village, Princestown, and 51 Rushwood Street in San Fernando. Stylus Furniture, for the style in you.
Trinidad and Tobago, this Saturday, November 5th, from 3 p.m., we present to you an experience you'll never forget. A flash to the future with imagery and creations beyond your imagination. Come indulge in the epicness that will lead to the mother of all carnivals. The revelry, the freedom, the excitement that you once encountered, recreated and re-envisioned at the Queen's Park Savannah, the home of carnival with tradition and culture and the heart and roots. With guest performances by Nadia Batson, Bungie Garland, Iwer George, Nyla Blackman, Tobago Mudband, Tobago Limbo Group, Pretty, Dev, King of the Juve, Exodus and Invaders Orchestra, just to name a few. We invite you to bring the entire family and come witness the introduction to Carnival 2023 for free. You won't want to miss this. Brought to you by the National Carnival Commission of Trinidad and Tobago.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Here my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
The steel pan, the only musical instrument invented in the 20th century, is a reflection of the perseverance and innovativeness of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, which have always been central to our development as a nation. And the steel pan story epitomizes this, carved out of life and struggle and determination, rising out of the spirit of the African drum. The steel pan stands today as evidence of innovativeness, creativity, and passion for life integral to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. My name is Kwesi Paul. Join me each and every Sunday from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight on the Street 91.9 FM.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282. Or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iwer George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Our community, and black youth in particular, are about to become the victims of a conspiracy emanating from the government that is designed to bring about the destruction of our youth. I say it again, the government is planning an assault on the black community specifically aimed at our youth. And the conspiracy is so deep and so diabolical. And oftentimes police recruit our young people to sell drugs. You didn't hear me. I said oftentimes police recruit our own young men to sell drugs. We are the same people with the same experience, originated from the same source. We come from the Lord of the worlds, Almighty God, Allah, yet we see each other as strangers. This is all calculated. It's part of the conspiracy. Now you say, my neighborhood is getting real rough. Will you make it from the school to the house? So mama is saying, Lord, I got to move. I got to get my baby out of this. Where you moving to, mother? See, the enemy wants where you live. White folk want this turf, brother. When they playing downtown, they recognize you too close to the downtown area, the business section of the country. So what they do, have moved out in the suburbs, and it's taking them all kind of gas money and time to get to downtown. So the white boy said, let's move the niggas out. How do you move the niggas out? You create gangs. You feed weapons to the gangs. You make them kill each other. Just confine the killing to their black neighborhood. Don't let it spill over into the white neighborhood. Then as they kill each other, it will produce black flight. Then they've prepared reasonable apartments for you in the suburbs. So you move out and the white men let the property go down. The banks are in cahoots with them. Then they send some of you to burn the property. Then as you begin to move out, whites let the property keep going down. Then the white developers come in. They don't want you there no more. They want you out. Oh, brothers and sisters.
When I watch the little children and I know who bring in the cocaine for them, a spirit inside me does that raw, telling me sing more.
What is your real name? Malcolm X. Is that your legal name? As far as I'm concerned, it's my legal name. Have you been to court to establish the I didn't have to go to court to be called Murphy or Jones or Smith. Excuse me for answering you this way. That's all right. If a Chinese person were to say his name was Patrick Murphy, you would look at him like he's insane, because Murphy is an Irish name, a European name, or the name that has a Caucasian or white background. And a yellow person, Chinese is a yellow man, and he has nothing to do or no connection whatsoever with the name Murphy. And if it doesn't look proper for a person who is yellow or Chinese to be walking around named Murphy or Jones or Johnson or Bunch or Powell, I think it would be just as improper for a black person or the so-called Negro in this country, as we're taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to walk around with these names. And therefore he teaches us that during slavery, the same slave master who owned us put his last name on us to denote that we were his property. So that when you see a Negro today who's named Johnson, if you go back in his history, you'll find that he was once his grandfather or one of his forefathers was owned by a white man who was named Johnson. His name is Bunch. His grandfather was owned by a white man that was named Bunch. Would you mind telling me what your father's last name was? My father didn't know his last name. My father got his last name from his grandfather, and his grandfather got it from his grandfather, who got it from the slave master. The real names of our people were destroyed during slavery.
Was there any line, any point in the genealogy of your family when you did have to use the last name, and if so, what was it?
The last name of my forefathers was taken from them when they were brought to America and made slaves. And then the name of the slave master was given, which we refuse. We reject that name today.
You mean you won't even tell me what your father's supposed last name was or gifted last name was?
I never acknowledge it whatsoever.
Let me ask you about the status of Elijah Muhammad. First of all, is he ill?
I spoke to him today. He is in better health than he has been.
Welcome back and welcome to the second hour of the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM. We're going up to 9 o'clock, and in a short while from now we'll continue, or we'll open up the lines and take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391. Remember, November in Trinidad and Tobago is Black History Month, and we are having our official launch at the Kwame Ture Center tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. And we have an audio-visual presentation featuring the slave dungeons, also called the slave castles of West Africa, where I visited recently and got some footage. But the whole narrative of this experience is one that all African people must see. In particular, our youth, we made the point about how the Jewish youth are taught about the Jewish Holocaust, which gives them an even deeper appreciation for the value of their own lives. That's why you cannot say a word against the legacy of the Jewish people without facing serious financial consequences. And look at our brother Kanye West and what he's going through right now. Our brother says a lot of things that are controversial, and 99% of it is just swept by. But those statements, anything in reference to the Jews. So when Kanye West said, okay, so there are the Jewish Holocaust museums where the Jews go and see the horrifying history of what they went through. He said there are black genocide museums, which are the abortion clinics. And just by the fact that he had the audacity to make that comparison, and even though the African Holocaust was hundreds of times worse than any other Holocaust at any time, by the fact that he dare think that, they have to go after his finances. So this morning, 10 o'clock, for the George Padmore Boys Academy session, we have a special African History Month presentation for them, and we will be teaching them on some of the horrors that happened to us. But tomorrow, as I say, we have the official launch of African History Month. It's a presentation not to be missed. All right, so I'm about to open up the phone lines, but I just want to finish a point that we were making about the gangs of Haiti and why America is concerned about going into Haiti to solve the gang problem. It's because of who the gangs are targeting over there. They're targeting politicians. They're targeting businessmen. They're targeting the rich in an attempt to have a kind of Robin Hood type scenario. Now, I am saying you don't have to be a gang member and a criminal at the same time. You can do something progressive, something productive, something enterprising, something industrial, while maintaining the structure of your social unit. But the other thing I want to point out to you just before we open up the lines is that in the early 1990s, when President Bill Clinton came into America, and there was a coup in Haiti where President Jean-Bertrand Aristide fled, and he went to Africa, and troops went into Haiti. They temporarily disbanded parts of the Haitian military. Now remember, well, you may not be aware, but America occupied Haiti from 1915 to 1934. Military occupation for 19 years. And the objective of that back then was to reverse one particular clause in the Haitian Constitution that said white people cannot own land. After the Haitian Revolution and the establishment of Haiti as a republic on January the 1st, 1804, it was against the law, based on the brutality, the cruelty, the crimes against humanity against African people. It was against the law for white people to own land based on the Constitution. And another constitutional point that they had was any enslaved African from any part of the world, once you arrived on the shores of Haiti, you were immediately a Haitian citizen and you were immediately freed. Now, over the next 80 or 90 years or so, some white Germans began illegally owning land in Haiti. And America sought to regularize that. And so they occupied Haiti militarily, as I said, from 1915 to 1934. So by the time they left, white people were able to own land. But think on this. When they disbanded the Haitian military temporarily in the early 1990s, it would have been 1994, many of those soldiers who were official military men in the 90s formed themselves into gangs, some of which that are operating now. Remember, the president of Haiti was assassinated last year with a team of close to 20 assassins who had American and Colombian passports. Now, think about this. In America, it is hardly spoken about, but you do have several former military men who have used their expertise, their skills, their knowledge to commit organized crime. And the CIA and the FBI have identified in the United States at least 53 gangs whose members have either served in or are affiliated with the United States military. In 2006, Scott Barfield, a Defense Department investigator, said that there is an online network of gangs and extremists in the United States who all have military experience. He said they're communicating with each other about weapons, about recruiting, about keeping their identity secret, and about organizing while still employed by the United States Army. The 2006 Sun-Times newspaper reported that gangs encourage members to enter the military, to learn urban warfare techniques to teach other gang members who are not in the military. A January 2007 article in the Chicago Times reported that gang members in the military are involved in the theft and sale of military weapons, ammunition, and equipment, including body armor. The Sun-Times began investigating the gang activity in the military after receiving photos of gang graffiti showing up in Iraq. So some of the soldiers in the American army who ended up out there in Iraq were leaving evidence of their gang paraphernalia. Wow. A 2007 FBI report on gang membership in the military stated that the military's recruit screening process is ineffective. It allows gang members and extremists to enter the military and lists at least 8 instances between 2004 and 2007 in which gang members have obtained military weapons for their illegal enterprises. Another report entitled Gang Activity in the United States Armed Forces is Increasing, dated January 12, 2007, states that street gangs, including the Bloods, the Crips, the Gangster Disciples, Hell's Angels, the Latin Kings, the 18th Street Gang, the Mexican Mafia, and the Vice Lords have been documented on military installations, both domestic and international, although recruiting gang members violates military regulations. Now, look at the level of organization there. And what makes them dangerous is the fact that they are not just killing each other. Our gangs in Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica that have a reputation of being involved in conflict against each other, which is fratricide, brother killing brother. Once black men kill other black men, they are not considered a threat. As soon as African people in gangs start kidnapping non-African people in business, you become a threat. And one high-profile kidnapping in this country would get more attention than 50 murders of poor people. And that is why when kidnapping hit its peak in this country, it was swiftly eradicated. Now you don't even hear about I wonder if you remember those days. But just like how we're seeing murders every day in the newspaper, we say, well, kidnappings every 2 days, every 3 days. They wiped it out. When last did you hear about a kidnapping in the news? When last? Because if that starts back, they will put an end to it swiftly. But murder, no problem, because it's poor black people. But I'm telling you, one Syrian or one white person kidnapped in this country, the whole nation will stand still. You know I'm telling you the truth. So, what are you saying, Brother David? I'm saying to the gangs, you don't have to commit any crimes, period. No murder of your own brother, no kidnapping of others, no robbery, no theft, no drug trafficking. You already have enough capacity for lucrative economic activity by simply uniting, pooling your resources together. I've been saying it all week. Let one gang open a restaurant and the other gang next door open a bakery. Let one gang open a dry cleaners and the other gang next door open a laundromat. Let one gang open tire shop. Let the other gang right next door open a mechanic's place. The brothers like to wear a lot of jewelry, a lot of gold. Open a jewelry store. Do you realize how much money poor people spend on jewelry? Open up a store. Well, there are some brothers, actually, who have been getting involved in that trade. Because, you see, there's always progressive thinking. And there are a couple brothers that I know of who have actually said, look, you see this? Let me invest. But the thing is, many of us go into these kinds of projects individually, isolated, on our own. We unite, we get together, we pool our resources. It could be an incredible, incredible project. All right, so let me open up the telephone lines, 342-0081 and 466-5391. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Mohammed. Brother David, you talked just now about the Americans. You know there's an election going on right now. The midterm election in America.
Yes, of course.
You know they are going to vote supporters of Trump with bulletproof vests and armor and all this sort of thing. If there's a church, if you're going to a church and you say you don't support Trump, they put you out, you know. Yeah, you heard that on the news there last night. But anyway, I remember Aristide. They had kidnapped Aristide and flew him out of the country, you know.
Yeah.
In his pajama, you know. But David, why are they not calling for an election in Tobago, international vote? Why are they not doing it in Haiti? Because it's the Americans that have that president there. And this is what they do all the time. Those who don't want to keep them in power, so they could keep the rest of the country, the poor people in the state that they are in. Like simple and straight that were going on there. Just like they did with Papa Doc and all of them. All over the world they do it. So long as you understand, have taken the education and do what they want you to do, they keep you in power. You'll never hear them talking about getting election. Or as long as you're there, you will want to get it. You see what it is they're doing up in Pakistan? Because they want Imran Khan. Because he said that America, you understand, have the influence there, and America is supporting this government that is ruling the country at this present time. But anyway, what you're talking about the kidnapping, I remember at one time that kidnapped a Syrian. I think they cut off his hand. They couldn't find the hand and the head. You understand? This sort of thing.
Yeah, that was Kuri.
Yeah, right. You understand? And the kidnapping right now.
Cut off his head and put it in a box.
Yes, that happens all the time. As long as you could kill the amount of black youths that they want, as long as you touch the mighty and powerful, you're in trouble. The police are going to get you. They're going to, in no time at all, they're going to pick up with you. You understand? You remember they had also kidnapped, I think, a Trinidad American citizen. You remember that one?
Yes.
Right. You know, he was an ex-soldier or something. So you see how far they solve those cases? But the idea is that you can kill as much poor as they want. It doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with them. You don't touch us. You remember when they hang this fella too? What's his name? Some Ashby.
Yep.
You remember when they had all these examples that we have? Yeah, to show all the examples to show, and all people have to come. I don't know. It's a hard thing, you know, to get them. You see this month here. You would see on the television the work that have been done over the years by the Emancipation Support Committee with the history of Africa in school. But our people paying attention to it, and the media showing it up. They're not doing that because that is to educate and get you out of the state. They say they're ignorant. I understand that we are living in. They will not show up that, but they haven't shown the history that you are talking about. They show it, and I've seen already on the television in November that Indian students almost beat, you understand, African students, you know. This school in Belmont gives almost get licks, you know, by them because they are learning, and when they learn, they understand, they know exactly what is good. Brother David, have a wonderful day. You understand? And I wish everybody understand happy African liberation. You understand?
Yes,
we need to be liberated. We have to be liberated. We must be liberated. It's not an easy thing. You have to, and education is the most important thing. If you don't educate people and show them and let them understand where we are, where we came from, what and who is responsible for this. They live in ignorance and they will die in ignorance. We have to show Europe. We have to show them Europe is the people that have us here and they continue to have us here. And as I keep saying, they're looking outside for place to plant all the trees that they have under the ice here. And to that's why they're destroying this one. Have a good day, my brother. Reach home, please.
Thank you, sir. Three 420-0081 and 466-5391. Today is November the 5th, first weekend of Black History Month. We want to make it a great one. Caller, good morning. Caller. Okay, so this phone isn't connected. Jeez. Hold on a second, caller. All right, can you hear me? Okay, right, but for some reason this phone wasn't connected. One second. What a mess. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother David.
Right. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Well, for the 10 years that they give us to identify ourselves as Africans, I think really where we progress to that stage that we are looking at being dependent on being fed, being security.
Caller, sorry, go ahead. Caller? Jeez. Okay, caller, I'll have to ask you to call back. This system's in a mess here. Caller, good morning. Sorry about that. My apologies.
Oh, good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sister.
The Jewish people, they give the children a bitter herb. I think it's their Passover celebration. They put a bitter herb in their mouth and they tell them, never again. And that's in reminder of their Holocaust. So all their children as they grow up, they know definitely it must not happen to them again. We are told to forget slavery.
Yeah, we're told to forget our Holocaust.
Forget our Holocaust.
While we remember theirs too, huh?
Yes. And our Holocaust was 1,000,000 times worse than theirs. But we must forget that. I am totally convinced, and nobody could tell me otherwise, the drugs that are coming into this country and placed into the hands of the black youth is for self-destruction. That's the main objective. And they make sure that it goes directly in the hands of the young black men who are uneducated, have no sense of self and their worth. So all they do is destroy each other. And that is what is happening. That kidnapping you spoke of, I remember it well.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is said when the people realize who it is they kidnapped, they release the boy without harming him. They didn't ask, they didn't get any money or anything. They released the boy back to the family. And it is also said that within a short space of time, all the people who were involved in that kidnapping was dead. So
yeah, they had a hit list, because it wasn't too long after that.
Yes.
That Minister of National Security, who was Martin Joseph at the time, he said it was October 30th, 2005, in the Parliament for the budget debate, where he said a group of prominent businessmen came to him with a list of persons who, in order to help the crime problem, that they think these people should be killed. And the thing is, that was around the same time that Imam Yassin Abu Bakr was arrested for conspiracy to commit murder. But you see, sometimes when we talk about one thing, it totally slips our mind the implications of what we're saying, depending on what the topic of the conversation is. Because those prominent businessmen were guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. How could you sit in a room with people and go through a list of names? And the thing is, the people were killed. That's the other point. They were killed.
Can you imagine? This is the thing that is going on in this country. And yet the face of crime must always look as the black youth from Lavon Till. I heard on the radio where a lot of strides are made in Central and with the police intervention and enterprise. These are not places that you know as hotspots, but the police are on the ground there keeping the youth in order. Couldn't that be done in the hotspot areas as well? You never hear about hotspots in Central and in Enterprise. But yet, the police are going in there and assisting the youth and keeping them away from crime. And our youth are left to kill out each other, and that must be done. That's okay. Well, what you said there about Haiti, that is no surprise. Because there's a level of consciousness in Haiti, dating all the way back to Toussaint. So these people know what they are about. Anyways, thank you, my dear brother.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning, brother.
Yes, yes, sir. Good morning.
Are you going through a long time? I hear your voice.
Hey, yes, I'm good. How are you doing?
But I'm going today that started this country. They were telling me, and I telling children at the Tobago today, this morning, and not even take it back forward. But black people, children, sacrifice in this country. That's why I keep that so much of blood in this country right now. The bigger heads sacrifice black people's soul in this country. I make no apology for it, Mr. Brother Mohammed. It's all the whites, it's all the black, it's all the Indians, it's all the Chinese. And if the head say, we are ready to sacrifice, we will sacrifice. The black people, look at the children dying right now, is black, Brother Mohammed. That is sacrifice, all that is sacrifice, Brother Mohammed. And it's sad to see that nobody ain't coming forward to talk these kind of talk and try to pull, you know who survive in this country, Brother Mohammed? Only the wise black man will survive in this country. Brother Mohammed, I thank you. I will see you tomorrow and we'll talk further. Thank you very much, Brother Mohammed.
All right, my brother. Good to hear from you after all this time. That's one of our business contractors of East Port of Spain, who has struggled so hard for justice for him and his peers. Respect to you, brother. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
I would like to draw the national attention and also to your attention. Two things. One, there's a Muslim gentleman in a frequency on one of these networks who every single week attack African people as though he's stirring up something between the Indians and the Africans, right? They talk about he work hard for his money and so on and so on. But a person could be a thief and working hard too. Because a lot of people know, the whole country know, that certain people gain the riches by car stealing, receiving stolen car parts and build itself. Yes, they did work hard.
Yep.
Right? That is one. Two, if a lot of the Africans in this country would do like you and educate the African youth about what his foreparents went through, I am saying you wouldn't see a lot of African youth committing some of these crimes against each other and against other people as is happening now. Because, right, I am saying the Emancipation Support Committee should stop this whole song and dance every year and do something more positive with the black youth. Because black people who are in power are not teaching the black youth. And as they come out to teach the black youth something, they say preaching race. Right? Now, I will bet anybody that none of these youths who you are training right now and educating right now would commit any crimes at all, whether it's against their own kind or against others. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you, my dear brother. But I could tell you this, it's a struggle. It's a non-stop struggle. Caller, good morning. Oh, jeez. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Now, the guns is prevalent in America, okay? And they have so much guns. Right now, they're sending guns through the Caribbean. If you ever watch it.
I'm not hearing you very, very clearly.
I said that.
I'm hearing you clearly, just the volume is low.
Oh, all right, just...
Go ahead.
Yeah, you hear me now?
Well, go on.
America is shipping guns to the Caribbean right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like they get it, if you was watching, you know, because everywhere you turn, you hear nobody dropping again, I know, it's 4, 5, 3, whatever numbers they listen to see down. And they love it. And I, personally telling you, Brother David, would like to see all who have the guns, all you get a showdown. Look for a showdown. Look for a nice place and all you have a showdown. And then the police just on the outside, none must escape. All of them have to in that showdown, all of them gone. The police say, and then they have the backhoe and some trucks to pick up the body, dump it, make a mass burial, and let me get rid of that gun thing right now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, my dear brother. Three 442-0081 and 4665391. Good morning, caller.
A pleasant morning to you, dear doc and philosopher.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Let me hasten to say pleasant morning to your family and to the entire Kwame Tori institution and the Black Agenda and the Nation of Islam on a whole. I will not support the last caller. Why I will not support it? Just to come up of that quickly. Too long do not spell right. So I would not support his view.
Wait, sorry. What view? Because to be totally honest with you, I didn't hear him clearly. The volume was very, very low. But what was it in particular?
What he was saying in truth and frank, to get all these African youths who have the gun, put them in a savannah, let us shoot out and kill each other, and get an excavator, dig hole and bury them.
Is that what he just said?
Yes, my brother, you could go back and listen to the clip. So that is why, before I make my contribution, normally I do not comment on people's contribution, which you know, but something like that, I must condemn it. But let me move on. I listened to your interview with Fazil Mohammed.
Yes.
And I want to tell you, doctor and philosopher and Baba, go to the head of the class. But hear why. The morning before, he interviewed the commissioner of police. And doctor if I were to quote the Commissioner of Police, he is saying some powerful people in this society is bringing in the guns. Look, according to the Commissioner of Police.
And he's right.
Okay, come on now. And went so far to say there is people who sitting on beaches in countries and they're scaring the guns coming in. Doctor, hear me, he said one of those guns cost 45,000 to 20,000. Hear me? He said last month they held two, he didn't want to call them, they held two Trinidadians in America in connection with Interpol, was just about to ship them to Trinidad 2 containers of guns. Dr. Mohammed, this is the commissioner was sitting on Fazil Mohammed program and telling the country and the world, and hear me, let me also quote him. He said the way how the system and the justice system is set up with the people there, he said, listen, the type of people and the people who is in high office, they are untouchable. So Trinidad and Tobago, and that is why I had to condemn that caller before me. Because I tell you, you see, Dr. Mohammed, it's a mass conspiracy that's taking place. And I'll tell you, I want to be very careful and guarded what I say now, because I don't want to go in murky waters according to Fitzgerald Hines. You see, Doctor, after listening to the commissioner, it is clear to all on Sunday what is, and hey, let me add, he is saying the legal port of entry. Let me quote it because everybody heard it. He said the legal port of entry, there is where the corruption is making kata with guns, drugs, and ammunition. Look, in the interview, Dr. Mohammed, he was speaking direct to the level of corruption within the system. And you know what he said? If they could only dismantle that, they will deal with it. Let me say this before I come on. They don't want to deal with it. I'll tell you why. You see, Trinidad became a narco state. And one thing I ask anyone who is listening, call and prove me wrong. When is the last time Trinidad, all you hear about submarine passing through our waters? Any commissioner will ever hint to that. Let me come out of that quickly. The moral of the story, Dr. Mohammed, after listening to the commissioner, I think it's Monday or Tuesday, after listening to him with that interview with Fazil Mohammed, I knew it already. But what it did for somebody like Tabaki, it solidified that guns, drugs, prostitution, the high elite, and the people who in charge of the justice system. I'm quoting the Commissioner of Police. This is not Tabaki talking. And as I take my leave, he is saying because of the justice system and the high influential people, he is saying they cannot touch them because of the system. Murder, guns, and prostitution in Trinidad. Tabaki Tautano.
Thank you, sir. And to that person, I mean, honestly, it didn't sound like he was going to say something like that call. But if he did say that, I ask you, would you also advocate putting all those who are bringing in the guns and bringing in the drugs in this country, would you advocate that we round all of them up in the middle of the savannah and let them kill out each other as well, or even kill them? Would you advocate that also? Caller, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Lovely morning, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I just call. I want to talk. But, Brother Mohammed, it has something in this country. It has something in the West want to eliminate the African men. When you see things happening in America and in Trinidad and Jamaica, it's always something happening here and we have to open the eyes. Look how much black little boys dying by the gun, where the gun's coming from. And nobody don't want to talk about it. Look what's going on in America. As soon as a black celebrity talk, they want to cancel, what is it called? Cancel culture.
Cancel culture.
The cancel culture, you understand? They want to keep us in a kind of way so that they can control us and our minds. All right. Let's talk the next thing. Watch how much Venezuelans coming across here. Watch what's taking place. How them getting all the jobs now? Don't come and tell me black boys don't want to work. Don't come and tell me that is going on now on social media, that little black boys don't want to work. They're lazy and they want fast money. That were going on too. So all the Venezuelans now getting all the jobs that a little black boy who now come to school and want to have a little income in his pocket, them taking over the job. Now the opposition see these Venezuelan children who coming across here, they need to go in our schools. How nobody fighting for little black boys to go in school and educate themselves? We have to find out what is the conspiracy going on here. They want to eliminate the race, the black race. And the more we talk about it, we have to open our eyes. The African community, the African Association has to come out and talk. Because when something is taking place in the Hindu community, these people just talk and they get through with what they want. They get through with what they want. We're supposed to have a documentary with black history in Trinidad and Tobago. You don't see that on local TV. But you see more foreign shows coming. You see a Spanish soap opera. You see a lot of Indian soap opera going on. But why they're not educating the African race about the history of the African people? But look what's going on. When you put on the TV, they're showing you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 African fellas get shot. What is that? They want to deplete a race and increase the next race. If we don't understand that, we don't understand it now. We have to open our eyes. They want to keep the black man down and have us in a slavery thinking where we'll never educate yourself and open your eyes. Have a good morning, Mr. Mohammed.
Thank you, my brother. Wisdom spoken. (342-0081) and 466-5391. We are within the last 10 minutes or so of the Black Agenda on this Saturday morning. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, Brother David.
Good morning to you, sir.
I heard a number of callers. We talk about the pollution, but what is the solution? An important, energizing, encouraging, empowerment program like this is heard every Saturday morning. I think yesterday morning I saw you on the television as well. How do we get our people to listen to you? How do we go about encouraging them? Let us talk solution. Is it that we must encourage the other radio talk show hosts to ask the population to tune into your program and let us try to help our black brothers? Because we are talking the pollution. I'm only hearing you with the solution. So we need to come about how do we get them to emancipate themselves from that mental slavery. Because your program is so enlightening and encouraging and it teaches us so much. how come who are the people listening to this program? We should all be listening to you on a Sunday morning, young, old, and trying to learn something from what you are saying to help us to go forward. I don't understand how some adults, especially adult people, make some contribution that is so irresponsible. And most of all, I'm thinking about we parents. We need to encourage those radio stations those other radio stations to have our young people and elders listen to your program and let us start getting somewhere somehow.
Well, my dear brother, I would like to specially invite you to the Kwame Ture Center tomorrow, 11 a.m. for our opening presentation for Black History Month. And you will see for yourself some of the efforts that are taking place, and maybe you can get involved so that together we can approach this. Also, I had said at the beginning of the program that I want us to resist the feeling of being beaten and defeated by the pain of what's happening in our country, and let's remain solution-oriented. And interestingly, we said that at the beginning of the program, and here you are at the end of the program, basically reminding us of that call. So I want to thank you for bringing that back to mind, but let us unite. Let's work together. All right, my beloved brother.
Okay, my brother. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, beloved, as I begin to wind down, I want to say to us again, self-pity actually works as a kind of psychological medicine. It's a kind of self-medicating mental condition that soothes and eases the pain of the stress, the frustration, the bitterness, and the grief that is engulfing our country. But that temporary feeling of ease is an illusion, because the reality remains the same situation that we're feeling stressed over is still there, and it might even be getting worse while we are starting to feel better. That is dangerous. And I'm simply calling on us to stay hopeful, stay positive, stay optimistic. Yes, we're already on track for 2022 to be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, so when we crossed 500 murders about a week ago, that put us as the 5th highest year ever for murders. And I think from that time to now, within one short week, we are already the 3rd highest year for murders. And we're set to be the worst ever. But don't let that beat you. Don't let that defeat you. Let it motivate you to struggle even harder, to work even more, to look out for the youth even more. We must remain optimistic. Black History Month opening tomorrow, 11 o'clock at the Kwame Ture Center. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, may Almighty God Allah continue to bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.